Yes, sir.
Sound the air raid siren. It's time for Monday Morning Fallout. Monday Morning Fallout, of course, when we overreact to the football weekend. We, like I say it every week, that we have a lot to overreact to.
Oh,
feels like doubly true this week.
So much to overreact here.
Let's start with my 3 big thoughts.
All right.
3 big thoughts, shake up down the stretch.
We definitely had that.
So one of the kind of byproducts of district play is that, generally speaking, there's like 1, maybe 2 landmines for like elite level teams in their own district. There might be a team that could beat them, right? I think of, like, for example, let's think of Allen.
Right.
Okay. Allen could lose to, like, McKinney, who's having a
Yeah.
nice year, or, like, maybe Denton Geyer. But, like,
Probably
we
not.
also don't expect it,
No.
right? They're Allen.
No.
They're
not
gonna
gonna. That's
drop
not going to
people.
happen.
Right, exactly. So, in a lot of respects, sometimes we kind of flip off our brain.
Yeah.
During this season, we start looking forward to the playoffs. We're like, all right, I want to see them get tested. We had a couple results this week that I think shakes things up, and we have to kind of mentally figure out what they're about. One of them is Malakoff's loss to Teague. Malakoff looked just cruising through.
Just smooth, flying under the radar. They were going to go into that region. Yo's down. This might be they're just going to smoke people.
And the thing is, here's the thing. Teague's a good team.
Teague's always a
darn
good team. They're
team.
used to being in this position,
But like,
for sure.
and this was a game we spotlighted because we thought it was going to be a good game.
Right.
But like, we were both like, okay, Malakoff's going to win that game.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna keep going and stuff like that. All of a sudden now that shakes up 3A Division 1.
Man, and that region is nuts.
It is.
Right? Our team to watch this week, Brady Keene's working on this article now, is the Franklin Lions, who won a district that we thought was Yo's to lose, and Yo fell off the face of the earth.
And if it's not Yo, then it's got to be Rockdale, right?
Right. Then it's got to be Rockdale.
Franklin.
But then you got Franklin, and now you got Teague in the mix. I mean, that region's
That region
gonna be
there
fun.
is going to be really, really fun. So that was one. The other one that I think is a little bit more of a discussion point, because that is whoa, hey, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe Teague's better than we thought. Maybe
Right.
Malakoff's not invincible.
Right.
The one that's interesting to me is Smithson Valley's overtime win over Converse Judson.
Oh, yeah.
Down goes our number 1 team in TexasFootball.com rankings. And I do, for those who don't know, I do the 6A rankings for Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And I sat there and I marinated over it, what I was going to do. Because, on one hand, this was a loss at home, by the way,
Yep.
to an unranked Smithson Valley team.
Right.
Now, there's mitigating factors.
Right.
It was in overtime.
Yep.
And they were without their best player in
Julon
Williams.
Yeah.
Julon Williams missed the game. I think, reading between the lines, I think that Sean McAuliffe is just holding him back.
Yeah.
And I think they're saying, listen, we've pretty much locked up everything that we need to lock up. As long as they beat New Braunfels Canyon this week, which that would be a colossal upset.
That would be very bad.
Then when they beat Church Clemens, it was pretty much smooth sailing for them at that point. As long as they beat Canyon this week, then they're going to get the top D1 seed. The loss to Smithson Valley is annoying, but it's nothing major. I think Julon Williams could have played if they needed him to, but I think they were saying, listen, let's hold you back because he did not play the week before with their win over Church Clemens, right? So he's been out against Church Clemens. That's 1 week. And then you go the Smithson Valley, that's 2 weeks.
Yep.
This week against Canyon, I don't expect him to play. That'll be 3 weeks. They're going to open with someone like San Antonio Warren, and with all due respect to the Warriors, they're not going to test them, right? So that's 4 weeks. You can give them a full month off before rematch with Lake Travis in the area around.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're projecting right now. So I do think he's playing games. Craig Way brought up a great point on Fox Sports Southwest when we were talking, because he said, what are you going to do with the rankings? They were your number 1 team. What are you going to do with the rankings? I said, I got to think about it. And Craig Way brought up a great point. He goes, Converse Judson without Julon Williams is not a top 5 team.
Right.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
But I also don't expect them to not have Julon Williams.
Yeah.
We ended up dropping them to number 6.
Yeah.
Because I think we dropped them behind Spring Westfield, we dropped them behind Westlake, we dropped them behind Klein Collins, Katy, and Allen. So they're number 6. To me, they're still ahead of a team like Duncanville.
Yep.
They're still ahead of a team like Saxe.
Yep.
I think there's a reasonable argument to be made that they should be behind them. But for now, I still think they're an elite team. But it's very interesting, and it kind of gave 6A a shake-up down the stretch.
Yeah.
That's the first pick. Do you have any thoughts on Judson's that I didn't cover? Because this is kind of an interesting situation because you don't know, like you don't want to you want to penalize a team because we should not.
I think it's fair because you don't know really when Julon Williams will be back.
Right.
As much as we think he's probably going to be back in time for all the games that really matter, I don't think you can bet on that. So I think that's the safe play, is putting them 6 behind teams that seem to be healthy, undefeated, great seasons, right? 2, I'd be a lot more excited about Smithson Valley if they hadn't lost that game.
I know. To Clemens.
To Shirts. I mean, it's
like now that looks like it's a really bizarre situation down there.
I think they're all just really good football teams, but it's a lot harder to figure out how they're going to do in the playoffs now because of all the sort of marks on their resumes.
But the other thing is that like Judson's got a win over Lake Travis, which to me
for
is
sure.
still
But they all have wins that you go, well, that's a good win.
Yeah.
And then you go, they all have losses, and you go, well, that loss makes me think you're not good enough to get to state,
right?
Or win the region. That's the stuff that makes you nervous.
It's interesting, and that was kind of the big takeaway I have from
it.
Thought number 2: pink slip season. We've already got one FBS college football coach in the state out. Sean Kugler's out.
Remember when we started the year, and I think we set the over/under at like a 1.5 or something like that, right? Like for the fun of it, and we were like, there's no way more than 1, right? We might have 4.
I think this is the first time I'll say this out loud. I've been a big defender of his, and I thought there's no way they're going to fire him.
Right.
I think Cliff Kingsbury's in big trouble at Tech.
Yeah. You look at their schedule, there's no reason to think they're going to win their last few games. Like, there's no reason.
They get Baylor this week on a neutral site. They're going to be favored in that one.
They should be, but the way they've played.
The way they've played and the way they've been an inability to close games, and all of a sudden you're staring 5-7 or 4-8
right
in the face.
Yeah.
And if you go 4-8, then all of a sudden you're talking about a situation where you started off 4-0,
right,
finished 0-8.
Yeah.
That would be cause for firing.
Yeah.
In my mind. I think he could be gone. I think it is becoming harder and harder for me to imagine a situation where David Bailiff keeps his job at Rice.
It's bad.
They lost. What was it? It was 53-21 or something was the final. I should probably have that in front of me. But they lost, and honestly, it wasn't that close.
Yeah.
They got mollywopped by UAB, who has not played football the last 2 years.
Yeah.
52-21 later, they get more than doubled up. It's harder. And by the way, that was 52-7 going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's tough because we've said this before on the show, but to a man, you won't find anyone who doesn't think that doesn't like David Bailiff, who wouldn't do something to make sure that David Bailiff keeps his job. All that, but it is what it is. It's ugly.
It's a bad situation right there. It's a bad situation. It's hard to see how
tough.
he keeps his job, and so that became abundantly clear to me this week.
And then there's someone.
And
honestly, if you look at the rest of their schedule, they should win 2 out of 3. They should. Like, they got New Mexico and Ole Miss. They should win those games. But New Mexico's tough to defend.
But you know what? Here's the thing: is that then let's say they do that. You know what you're
they still
at?
got LSU, and LSU looks like they're at least putting some things together towards the end of the season.
Let's say they lose. Let's say they go 2-1 down the stretch.
Yeah.
7-5.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I think we think the writing's on the wall there because of the issues with the contract. That it's not like they've gone to make an extension or anything like that. I think it seems like all parties are kind of ready to let this thing just ride itself out. But how weird is that? I mean, we started this year thinking, no way more than 2.
One,
right?
maybe 2.
No
right.
way more than 2.
And one of those might be like Seth Luttrell getting plucked or Frank Wilson getting
plucked.
Right.
We haven't
Which,
even. And
by
that's
the
the
way,
thing. We haven't even gotten there to where Chad Morris, Seth Luttrell, and Frank Wilson are all probably being eyed by bigger programs for what they're doing right now. So
absolutely, it's a very odd situation.
Could you imagine 7 head coaching changes?
Could happen.
I don't think it's going. I mean, that's crazy. But if it did, holy cow!
More than half the state.
Ooh.
Thought number 3: a grand finale.
Yeah.
We're entering week 11 of the Texas high school football season. It is the final regular season week. A lot of teams are going to be done after this week. We won't think about them again until next fall. But we have a number of real slobber knocker matchups in the final week.
It's always fun when this happens because it's not necessarily one that does.
I'm very excited about Cy-Fair and Langham Creek for the District 17 6A title. I'm very excited about Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial and Corpus Christi Cal Allen.
I know this is a big test for vets, right? They've had this amazing season, and here we go.
It's like, here you go. You want to prove that things have changed on the Coastal Bend? Here's your shot.
I'm excited to see what happens in that one.
I'm excited about. Let's see. I had a list that that I had on the computer. Let's see. I'm excited about. Oh, I deleted those. And things are going great. I'm excited about Austin Bowie and San Marcos. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, look, San Marcos fans have been chirping all year about how good they are. This is the team they got to beat to prove it.
Midland Lee and Odessa Permian has huge implications.
Right.
It's for the top D1 seed.
Game.
It's a classic rivalry.
Classic game.
I mean, that's the thing, is that you've got these great rivalries. Alito and Boswell's Battle of Unbeatens. You've got these great, like, clashes between teams that are great teams. And then you've also got this great mix of really good rivalry games. Refugio and Shiners become a great rivalry. You got Bay City and El Campo. You've got Sherman and Denison. You got PNG and Nederland. You've got all these games that are classic games to go along with fantastic games. So we're excited. I'm excited.
Speaking of Lee and Permian, by the way, today is the anniversary of the coin flip.
Happy anniversary, coin flip. 3 helmet stickers. A helmet sticker to Graham quarterback Tucker Horn. 356 yards and 4 touchdowns passing. Added a rushing touchdown as well for the Steers. Helmet sticker to Baylor wide receiver Ishmael Wainwright. The Bears get their first win of the year at Kansas. My God, Kansas is terrible.
They're so bad.
And the last touchdown scored by former Baylor basketball player Ishmael Wainwright makes a touchdown catch. Congratulations to him. He gets a helmet sticker. And a helmet sticker to Corpus Christi Ray quarterback Brad Breckenridge. 225 yards passing, 182 yards rushing, and 3 touchdowns. He did it all for Ray. 3 teams to watch. Brownsville Hannah took Harlingen to the woodshed.
Yeah, that was wild.
Step tweeted about this.
Yeah.
Brownsville ISD may have 4 teams in the playoffs, which would be awesome for BISD. It would be really cool. Midwestern State. They hold off Tarleton State in overtime in a game we definitely had our eye on.
Yeah.
And look, they're trying to win that Lone Star Conference, and I believe they're closing in on it. They've already got the win over Commerce.
And a little teaser, little Wednesday heat check teaser. The new format of the heat check after all of our work last week might have Midwestern State up to number 2.
Audible gasp.
What?
Audible gasp.
8-game winning streak they're riding.
And Grand Prairie.
Hey-o.
For all the talk we had about Cedar Hills forfeit, in the end, the benefactor are the Gophers, who are dancing for the first time since 1989. A playoff berth for the first time since 1989. Congratulations to the Gophers. 3 teams to worry about. West Mesquite. It's an interesting loss they had this past week to who did they lose to? I feel like I just had this up. I had this up. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really good at this.
You wrote this, so I
really
can't
did.
even help you here.
Yeah, you can't help me. Like I don't expect you to help me. They lost to North Forney, 50-44. Now North Forney will
put those points up.
They'll trick you into a shootout. But that's a concerning for the defense because they're going to face high-powered offenses.
Yeah.
And really, you could say they've faced 2 high-powered offenses this season in Highland Park and North Forney, and they lost both those games.
Right.
So that's a team to worry about. UTSA, speaking on the other side of it, do you guys feel like scoring or something?
Boy,
I don't want to bother you.
Painful slog in Miami. What did I tell you about Miami, though? Yep. Going to Miami. It's never a good idea. Nothing good ever happens when you got a road game in Miami.
And Wolford Friendship, the year's over for the Tigers. They finish 0-10.
That's insane.
It's for a program that is known as one of the powers on the South Plains to go 0-10 is truly, truly remarkable. So those are 3 teams to worry about, and that is Monday Morning Fallout.